Hi and welcome to another episode of Talk to the Expert, and I'm here with
Adam Walsh.
So Adam, can you tell us a little bit about your role here at ASAFE?
I am part of the strategic accounts team based across the EMEA region, solely focused on logistics.
How long have you been here?
Been here nearly 7 years now and about 4 years in this role.
Fantastic. So we're here today to talk about some key multinational companies that we work with and focusing around some of the challenges they face in terms of safety and efficiency in dock areas, yard areas, and goods in and out. From your experience at ASAFE, could you talk a little bit about some recent experiences you've had with clients that have had issues in their areas and what sort of questions they're asking?
Yeah, it's one area I think that kind of gets unnoticed within the warehouse industry and the logistics industry, especially. People think mainly about segregation, but actually dock protection is a huge area where there's massive accidents, but also a lot of input and output through the lorries coming back and forth. So yeah, we work a lot with the safety teams across these multinational companies regarding the best way of an operation procedure of how we can kind of keep their dock safe. Not only the staff that work in there, but also the vehicles and the actual dock itself from any damage.
So what sort of questions are you asking these clients when they're coming to you with problems, be it safety or efficiency?
It's really understanding how they work. Most people might think that one company does it this way and that everyone follows that way. It's very different. Everyone has their own kind of procedures and operational values and how they work within that kind of dock area. What we're trying to understand is, firstly, listen to the customer, find out what their problems are. We may have faced it already in a previous customer. But actually what we find is every case is different. There may be similarities in places, but a lot of it is very individual to their needs. What we're mainly asking is how often those doors are in use. You may have a bay where you may have a warehouse where you have 65 dock doors, but actually only a small percentage are using throughout the day. So it's understanding where they're using it, what's the highest output. Is it the inbound or is it the outbound areas? Is it large kind of shipment containers that are coming in? Is it kind of smaller vehicles that are coming up against it that might not be able to be against the dock as proper as a HGV might be? Mm-hmm. So really it's just understanding their needs and trying to not educate but work with them as a kind of clientele and a kind of consultancy a stage. And then from there is understanding what products we have that we can then help with them kind of alleviate any problems they may have.
What's driving their decisions? What is it around improving efficiency? Is it reactive? Has something just happened that requires protections? Yeah, could you just expand on that?
Yeah, I'd say probably 80% of that is reactive, where a close miss or a full accident has happened, and then health and safety have gone back to the operations teams to say, look, we need to kind of address this issue. What can we do? Working with huge kind of the blue chip companies that I deal with in the logistics world, a lot of them are kind of very more pragmatic and want to kind of get ahead of that because they have so many sites around the world. It may be that one site had a near miss, so then actually they want to kind of push this forward to make sure that that couldn't happen again in another site. So what we're trying to understand, like I said, going back is where those pinch points are. Mm-hmm. Everything's very different. It's very easy just to kind of one solution fits all, which it doesn't at all. And another key point is the operational efficiency. Obviously, a lot of lorries come in and out every day, and they have to there can't be any kind of operational downtime. So making sure that the input and output is on time, make sure that their deliveries go out or the deliveries come in. So a huge focus is on that kind of operational shift and pattern of also changing over from night to day teams and making sure that there's nothing being kind of missed off. So we are working with predominantly the day teams, but a lot of the kind of night shift teams also need to kind of fully understand any kind of changes to the dock, which they might not be aware of throughout the day.
So with that in mind, could you give us an example of a time when you've been called to a client and they've had a problem and take us through that process you've gone down with the client and the solution that was in the end of the day implemented?
Absolutely, yeah. So it was one of the largest retailers online, huge customer that we work with globally. They had issues going back a few years now of stacking areas once the deliveries had come in inbound or going out outbound, ready to go. And what they needed was kind of a solution where they can hold a lot of goods in a kind of certain area as close to the dock as possible before it either comes in or goes out. So for us, we go there, and a lot of it is kind of just evaluating and watching how operations happen at the moment without anything in place. And that allows us to kind of step back and then sit down with the customer and go, okay, by looking at X, Y, and Z, we've understood that you need this here. So one of the biggest things we've done, which has now kind of been a huge rollout across global sites for this customer, is kind of TSI and TSO stacking outbound. So these are high barriers where the customer can then stack 2 to 3 kind of pallets on top of each other. So it maximizes the space, it makes it as efficient as possible, because every inch within a warehouse counts for space.
Yeah.
So the fact that we can kind of go up and we can kind of offer that protection for no topple or anything to fall over was a huge thing for the customer. And like I said, it's now been implemented across many sites.
So in 2026, what are some of the processes, procedures, and considerations that these top clients are thinking about when they're addressing dock issues, dock areas, yards?
I think they're moving definitely towards automation rather than manual. I think what they've seen in the past is a lot of the injuries happen because it is a staff member maybe falls out or gets caught up in the issues of inbound, outbound transactions. So by making it automative and smart, it immediately eliminates that risk of potential damage and injury to a person. So what we are finding is customers asking how our products can kind of interact with other customers' products, where we can kind of have the protection, but the smart protection as well.
Yeah.
So it's something our team are definitely looking at, and the trend is definitely going to be there for the next kind of few years. It's understanding where we can fit into that, and at ASAVE we can absolutely work with customers to kind of provide that for the customer.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. I think at ASAVE we are seeing that shift in the industry, and we are looking at products that we can produce and systems that we can implement for customers that can provide data, and data-driven decisions become more important for these customers. So they're not just guessing, they can understand where the efficiencies aren't there, where the safety risks are there, and make an informed decision on their next steps when it comes to protecting these areas.
Yeah, definitely. I think we are the global leaders when it comes to protection in a warehouse environment, and customers can see that we can offer the standalone products, which are more than capable of helping a dock protection. But now they also see that we are that kind of go-to consultancy partner where we can engineer, we can come up with some fantastic smart products, which we are releasing to the market at the moment. And having those kind of back-ends and kind of that customer belief that we can do that is huge for us. And it pushes us forward to kind of continue within that industry and see where we can get to.
Thank you, Adam, for taking your time today to come talk to us. I hope you've got some value from that today, and until next time.